Hi, hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here to re-celebrate the 2022 National Extension Award for Diversity that kindly the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities, along with NIFA USDA, awarded us this little um, humble community of practice in the heart of the College of Agricultural Sciences here at Penn State, the Latinx Agricultural Network. Here with you today is Jaime Garcia Prudencio speaking. I'm an assistant teaching professor in the Spanish for Agriculture program. I am a land leadership team member and also a teaching with technology faculty fellow for Penn State in immersive education and virtual reality. That's when I'm not dealing with designing strategies to navigate Latino outreach in bilingual or bicultural settings. Also here with us today is Maria Gorgo. She's a horticulture extension educator, an affiliate faculty instructor for the plant pathology and environmental microbiology department. She is an expert in commercial horticulture, IPM, farm food safety, and also a land leadership team member. And Adrienne Barragan is our third land leadership team member and also an assistant clinical professor, an extension veterinarian in the Department of Veterinary and Biomedical Sciences, and also an extension educator for the dairy and livestock teams. He is also a teaching with technology faculty fellow. Latinx is a word that we're using to be more inclusive. We're not going to say Latinos and Latinas, we're going to say the Latinx community. Now, after the 2020 census, is the largest minority group in the country, representing 18.5% of the total population, 63 million individuals, growing at a very fast pace. The Latino population, it is present in almost every county in the country, and growing at a very fast pace in some of these counties. You can see them in a darker color, representing the countries that are growing at a more than a 50% pace. With this fast growing population, it is understandable that now the Spanish is the predominant non-English language spoken at home in almost every county in the country. And with this being said, easy to pick out of 100 people randomly one person that is not white American. And this is represented in the USA Diversity Index. If you go to counties like Lehigh, Berks, Dauphin, and Monroe, you're going to see that it is very easy to hear the Spanish in the street or have a Spanish-speaking population like joining training efforts. So in Pennsylvania now we are 13 million individuals, and 8.4% of that population, 1 million, is Latinx. They found home, they call home, where they have named the Latino Corridor, the soul of the Latino community, is where 6 out of 8 cities with the largest Latino population in Pennsylvania are located, from Allentown to Lancaster. And this is changing the political landscape, where Edgar Moran was elected the first Latino mayor. Now Allentown has another Latino mayor, and this is the political landscape. But also in the school districts, things are changing, and this population is noticeable. And Reading, Allentown, Lancaster, Lebanon, they have a majority Latino student population, and Reading is surpassing 80%. So with all these changes, imagine all the changes that are happening in agriculture. How are we adapting to these new changes? And we, through a survey to check, how was the professional capital and the resources that we had in order to accommodate better outreach to serve the Latino community. And we work with the Latino community, but the workers that are working with Spanish-speaking or Latinx communities, they don't necessarily are proficient in Spanish. So we did a big shout out, and we call our peers in extension and also in the College of Agricultural Sciences, and we say, hey, we need your expertise, we need your know-how, and we need all your deliverables, and we together we're going to serve the Latino population in 60 counties with all our extension educators and faculty along together. So we call them and say, hey, please join us in this effort to understand and assess and strategically serve the Latino community in Pennsylvania, not working in silos, but working together as a network. So here we are. We are increasing Spanish extension programming. Now we are hiring bilingual customer service. We're translating event registration platform in Spanish so everybody can enjoy our resources and trainings. We are recruiting minority students. We are improving DEI within the college. We are assisting and supporting minority farmers across the Commonwealth. We are hiring more bilingual extension educators, and in the case that we can hire like this right now, we are offering professional development. So Adrian, why don't you explain what is the origin, how we structure ourselves, and where are we working hard these days in LAN?
All right, thank you, Jaime. So LAN, the community of practice, started with 9 members originally. They were extension educators, faculty, students, and administrator. And this team were the ones that did the groundwork needed to establish a more organized and developed organization, you might say. So they work for several years on getting the assessment needs for the Latinx community in PA, identifying best extension programming for this population as well, and how to improve and increase the outreach of the Latinx community in PA, and also identifying and sort of uncovering these the challenges within our organization, within Penn State, and how to overcome those challenges in order to move forward into developing a more formal organization. And also, as every large collaborative work needs funds to back up the work, they did a lot of work on not only searching but also securing funding for this initial stage of the organization. So the main service that the LAN provides to the Latinx community in PA is organizing and allocating extension programming and resources across PA. We are much of that connecting piece that helps connect different, not only the education, but also the audience, right? We have an active role on increasing the outreach of the service, but also, as I mentioned before, connecting the people that need the resources with the people that provide the resources, right? But we also really working towards securing more funds and resources to increase the outreach, increase our service, and that comes along with a lot of marketing and strategizing in order to increase the outreach, and also the knowledge of others about the organization, and increasing collaboration, and with that comes the securing the fundings as well, and of course expanding the networking and with future goals, and that Jaime will talk a little more about that, but not only PA but perhaps a broader outreach for the Latinx community nationwide. So with that being said, some of the main programs, if we may say, that LAN has is an active social media and website. So we have our own page within the College of Agricultural Sciences website. We also have a Facebook page that you can see a screenshot here, quite active, reaching 1,000 of people. You can see there some of the last statistics of the Facebook page, but quite active, quite engaging, and it really helps with increasing the outreach of the organization. We also do bi-monthly general meetings, and also executive committee meetings, where we have speakers that come across PA, and they talk about different programs, surveys, events that they have for the Latinx community. And it's a great opportunity for the organization members to network, to learn about different programs and different efforts that are being done across PA. So this has been one of the most successful components of the organization, where we're really getting out to the people that need the information, and we're connecting. So we're selecting, finding these speakers, bringing them to the meetings, and they share their information, they share their knowledge, they share their programs, their different resources with the audience, and then it's when the network and the collaborations just keep expanding. We had done extensive work on translating meaningful and a large number of extension educational material. And here are some of perhaps the timely articles that were translated, especially during the pandemic, but also in different situations. And this is sort of in a need based on needs assessed through extension educators reaching out to the executive committee or the leadership team, and then selecting the resources, utilizing the resources to translate those in a need assessment base, or prioritizing based on the specific time or situation that are happening in different areas. As we know, extension is really broad. We also have done these educational programs not only on the website or sort of in article or fact sheet format, but also as a hands-on workshops. And when we think about what I was talking before about identifying different best extension programming for the Latinx community in PA, hands-on is usually one of the most popular ones. So this is just a few examples of perhaps my hands-on work in the dairy industry as an extension veterinarian. So we perform between 30 and 50 of these workshops a year. They're in person. We train around 300 to 500 farm personnel, Spanish-speaking farm personnel a year across dairy industry or dairy farms in PA. And we also, so especially with the pandemic, it felt like a great opportunity to increase or perhaps implement another type of programming or formats for extension programs. And so we develop and start implementing more webinars. And this is one example. There are many of these, but this is one webinar that I lead that is known Applied. The name is Applied Dairy Management in Spanish, and was the first 100% Spanish webinar that was offered at Penn State. And this is already the 5th year that's been offered, reaching out to hundreds of participants, not only from PA, but across the nation and also across the world. We have actually some stats that Jaime will share in a little bit with you, but definitely we increase the outreach. But as I mentioned before, we have to keep a varied type of programming formats in order to reach more of the Spanish Latinx community, especially PA. And with that, I'm gonna let Jaime wrap up the presentation with the future directions and some of the main impact of the organization. Thank you.
And yeah, thank you, Adrian. The future efforts. How do we prioritize the creation of extension programming and deliverables? How do we measure impact? And how do we expand the network? So right now we have 5% content in our website, so we will increase that, but we need to pay attention to what our audiences are needing in terms of format and content. We need to understand better who are we reaching, why are we reaching those communities, what are the needs of those communities, not only in the Commonwealth, but also in the Northeast and also worldwide. And this is only an example of the Spanish webinar series that Adrian coordinates, and we are impacting the world. So we need to know a little bit better how are we doing. And also, we need to have a better metric to measure the impact that we are having in underrepresented communities across the Commonwealth, and improve that outreach to the communities that are in need of our services. And the third one, and I think that is the most important one, is how we structure ourselves to, increase programming, deliver excellence, and touch every corner of the Commonwealth. But it is possible to have a conversation and join efforts across the region, across the Northeast. So this is a beautiful conversation that we can have with the Northeast Extension Directors Association. And yeah, I believe that in an articulated way of working and collaborating together, we can reach easier and faster and more efficiently the community that we serve with great passion, the Latinx community, but not from our own silos, but in a coordinated way. So I extend my hand to have this conversation with Len and other groups across the region, from Maine to West Virginia. And thank you, the Northeast Extension Director Association, for celebrating with us this Extension Award for Diversity. And thank you, Adriana Maria, for being here with us today. So we are ready to take any questions.